Women need a reason to have sex. Men just need a place. I'm a heroin addict. I need to have sex with women who have saved someone's life. Sex is emotion in motion. Sex at age 90 is like trying to shoot pool with a rope. Social progress can be measured by the social position of the female sex. Sex is a part of nature. I go along with nature. No self-respecting woman should wish or work for the success of a party who ignores her sex. Remember, sex is like a Chinese dinner. It ain't over till you both get your cookie. Love without sex is still the most efficient form of hell known to man. Love is an ice cream sundae with all the marvelous coverings. Sex is the cherry on top. Software is like sex. It's better when it's free. Sex without love is a meaningless experience, but as far as meaningless experiences go, it's pretty damn good. I remember the first time I had sex. I kept the receipt. Sex. The pleasure is momentary, the position ridiculous, and the expense damnable. I believe in using words, not fists. I believe in my outrage, knowing people are living in boxes on the street. I believe in honesty. I believe in a good time. I believe in good food. I believe in sex. Though the sex to which I belong is considered weak, you will nevertheless find me a rock that bends to no wind. Sex. The pleasure is momentary, the position ridiculous, and the expense damnable. I need more sex, okay? Before I die, I want to taste everyone in the world. There are two things people want more than sex and money: recognition and praise. I'm at the age where food has taken the place of sex in my life. In fact, I've just had a mirror put over my kitchen table. I thank God I was raised Catholic, so sex will always be dirty. I'm at the age where food has taken the place of sex in my life. In fact, I've just had a mirror put over my kitchen table. I would rather have a cup of tea than sex. Sex appeal is 50% what you've got, and 50% what people think you've got. I believe that sex is one of the most beautiful, natural, wholesome things that money can buy. There's no religion but sex and music. To succeed with the opposite sex, tell her you're impotent. She can't wait to disprove it. I talk so much about sex that girls just want to meet me. There is more to sex appeal than just measurements. I don't need a bedroom to prove my womanliness. I can convey just as much sex appeal, picking apples off a tree or standing in the rain. The big difference between sex for money and sex for free is that sex for money usually costs a lot less. The romantic love we feel toward the opposite sex is probably one extra help from God to bring you together. But that's it. All the rest of it, the true love, is the test. Sex, the poor man's polo. Woman is the dominant sex. Men have to do all sorts of stuff to prove that they are worthy of woman's attention. Sex without love is merely healthy exercise. It's been so long since I've had sex, I've forgotten who ties up whom. Sex is a bad thing because it rumples the clothes. Reading computer manuals without the hardware is as frustrating as reading sex manuals without the software. Sex is the most beautiful thing that can take place between a happily married man and his secretary. Sex is God's joke on human beings. In America, sex is an obsession. In other parts of the world, it's a fact. Some things are better than sex, and some are worse, but there's nothing exactly like it. The trouble is not that players have sex the night before a game, it's that they stay out all night looking for it. I admit I have a tremendous sex drive. My boyfriend lives 40 miles away. I wish I had invented blue jeans. They have expression, modesty, sex appeal, simplicity, all I hope for in my clothes. In my sex fantasy, nobody ever loves me for my mind. I love the Sex Pistols. I'm a big Beach Boys fan and a huge Zeppelin and Queen fan. I never miss a chance to have sex or appear on television. Sex hasn't been the same since women started enjoying it. Neither sex, without some fertilization of the complementary characters of the other, is capable of the highest reaches of human endeavor. I've been a woman for a little over 50 years and have gotten over my initial astonishment. As for conducting an orchestra, that's a job where I don't think sex plays much part. I am still of opinion that only two topics can be of the least interest to a serious and studious mood: sex and the dead. A liberated woman is one who has sex before marriage and a job after. What laughter is to childhood, sex is to adolescence. Nope, no sex scandals yet, but I am open to offers. Once you see your nature, sex is basically immaterial. In the duel of sex, woman fights from a dreadnought and man from an open raft. I tend to think that cricket is the greatest thing that God ever created on earth, certainly greater than sex, although sex isn't too bad either. The truth is, sex doesn't mean that much to me now. Being a sex symbol is a heavy load to carry, especially when one is tired, hurt, and bewildered. There's no sex in Middle Earth. Same-sex marriage, it's not a big concern to me. Being a sex symbol was rather like being a convict. The sex element is the most important in the business. You must sell sex. I never realized until lately that women were supposed to be the inferior sex. Death and sex are the dominant reality of our day. Sex is the last refuge of the miserable. Sex is a must topic. Even every Bollywood movies has such highlighted content. In advertising, sex sells, but only if you're selling sex. Sex is a doorway to something so powerful and mystical, but movies usually depict it in a completely flat way. You know, music is sex. It's a sensual driving mode that affects people if it's played a certain way. There are two sayings that are familiar in every newsroom across the country. 1, sex sells. 2, if it bleeds, it leads. The only unnatural sex act is that which you cannot perform. I also use women as a sex object. Maybe I'm kinky. However, I like to talk to them as well. Sex is the ersatz, or substitute religion of the 20th century. The beautiful feeling after writing a poem is on the whole better even than after sex, and that's saying a lot. Anne Sexton. The higher mental development of woman, the less possible it is for her to meet a congenial male who will see in her not only sex, but also the human being, the friend, the comrade, and strong individuality, who cannot and ought not lose a single trait of her character. Join me in Olympic heroes for abstinence. The best sex is no sex. My wife is a sex object. Every time I ask for sex, she objects. I prefer love over sex. I am sick and tired of hearing that it is our moral duty to serve the state, because conservatives believe that it is our moral duty to serve our fellow man regardless of race, sex, affiliation, or creed. And when we serve, we believe that it is the state's duty to get out of the way. I think same-sex couples should be able to get married. Sex and drugs and rock and roll. I want to wait to have sex until I'm married. I wake up every morning, look in the mirror and ask, am I a sex symbol? Then I go back to bed again. It's stupid to think that way. Americans are a decade behind Canada when it comes to sex education and understanding their bodies. I didn't want to be a sex symbol. That was perhaps my mistake, but you can't really change who you are. Football is violence and cold weather and sex and college rye. At a pool party with everybody around, a guy and I had sex in the pool, but nobody knew it. When authorities warn you of the sinfulness of sex, there is an important lesson to be learned. Do not have sex with the authorities. Romanticy, love, or sex is the only good thing in a life that is being lived in a dark way.
Stay connected with us for more captivating content. Hit subscribe and be part of our community. Don't miss out. Subscribe now.